Hey everybody, today we're going to be talking about databases for ISA 4220 by Mike Tarantine. First we're going to be talking about what a database is. A database is a collection of information, usually in a computer system. A database is operated with a database management system, or DBMS. The application with the data being stored along with the data and DBMS is called a database system. The information stored in a database is usually stored in columns and rows to make retrieving the information more efficient. The data can be accessed with ease and updated or changed at any point. Next, we're going to be talking about structured query language. In order to query, or to provide access control, or even to manipulate data, the programming language SQL is used almost by all relational databases. In the 1970s, IBM first developed SQL. Back then, Oracle was the major provider, and it guided the development of SQL ANSI standard. Since companies such as Microsoft, IBM, and Oracle extensions all have been driven by SQL, many new programming languages are emerging, even though SQL still continues to be exclusively used today. The evolution of databases began in the 1960s and have advanced significantly since then. The first systems that worked to store and manipulate data were navigational and network databases. Navigational databases used a tree-like model and only used one-to-many relationships. Network databases used multiple relationships because it was more flexible. Because these models were basic, relational databases became well-liked. In the 1990s, object-oriented databases were developed. And as the internet grew rapidly, NoSQL databases were developed as a response for the need to process unstructured data faster. Emerging today are new databases such as cloud and self-driving, breaking the mold on how data is gathered, stored, and used. Here we're going to be looking at the difference between spreadsheets and databases. Spreadsheets are designed for a single or small number of users and cannot manipulate complex data. Databases, on the other hand, hold a massive amount of organized information and allow for secure, simultaneous access to highly complicated logic. The main differences are how much data is stored, who has access, and how it is stored and managed. Here we're going to be looking at the different types of databases. OLTP databases are analytic databases that allow for multiple users and a large number of transactions. Data warehouses are designed for rapid query with data stored in a central source. Object-oriented databases are data represented in a form of objects. Relational databases are best for structured data. It is organized in tables with columns and rows that have relation to each other. Graph databases store data in entities that rely on relationships between them. NoSQL databases have no structure that allow for complex web applications. And finally, distributed databases are files located on different computers, sites, and networks. Here we're going to be looking at the newest databases. Multi-model databases combine different types of database models in order to accommodate a variety of data. Self-driving databases are autonomous, cloud-based databases that use artificial intelligence to do backups, routine management, security, and general tuning automatically. In cloud databases, data resides in either public, private, or hybrid cloud computing platforms. Clouds can be transitional or use a service provider for maintenance. JSON databases are a new way to store data. Instead of rows and columns, it manages documents and allows for retrieving and storing in a new, exciting way. The Database Management System, or DBMS, is software meant to maintain and create database files. It takes care of the storage, access control, and backup and security. Security is one of the most important considerations today. The software enables you to construct your own database, making data handling simpler by storing it in a structured way. A database management system is software that is designed to interface between end users and the database. It helps you optimize and organize data. It has the ability to retrieve, update, or manage the information. Since oversight and control of a database are important, the DBMS performs administrative duties such as backup, tuning, and monitoring. Some examples of DBMS software are Microsoft Access, DBase, Oracle Database, Microsoft SQL Server, MySQL, and FileMaker Pro. MySQL is the DBMS behind the most popular websites and web-based applications like Facebook, Uber, YouTube, Twitter, Airbnb, and LinkedIn. It is most used for e-commerce business because it is designed to process thousands of transactions as well as millions of queries. Flexibility is the primary feature of MySQL. As an open source relational database, as is SQL, it can run on any platform and optimize web applications. The new business environment collects vast amounts of data and relies on databases to keep them competitive. Businesses are going beyond just data storage. They are moving on to analyzing massive amounts of information from several systems to strategically target their market. The collection and analyzing of this data helps better decision making and helps them focus their resources. Self-driving databases should give a substantial boost to business capabilities. They reduce the time it takes to manage data and frees up resources. Gaining control over database use means better bottom lines. Here we're going to be looking at the challenges of databases. To support ever more complicated queries, businesses must employ more methods to increase performance. These are some shortfalls they may face. When looking at data security, data must be secure but also accessible to users. When looking at scalability, administrators need to predict how much capacity they will need to manage. When managing volume, businesses need to build sensors to accommodate explosive increase in data, keeping up with the company's needs. Database and infrastructure maintenance. The more complexities require hiring more talent to watch for problems proactively. Thank you everybody for listening to my presentation. Here are my references and I hope you all have a great day.